Hello, and welcome to Biblical Scrolls, where we take a deeper dive into the hard to interpret, the obscure, or even the misinterpreted passages of Scripture. We will also look at apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts and other historical manuscripts. We'll be using a variety of sources, so if you're committed to just one version of the Bible, this channel may not be for you. Now let's dig into today's passage. Today we're going to talk about the Christmas story. Some differences between the Matthew account and the Luke account. Some things we assume because we've been told that, but aren't actually in the text. And other details we may have missed. I assume we are familiar with the story, so we're not going to read the whole account here. But the first thing you probably already know, but is that the Magi, or the wise men, were not present when Jesus was born. They visited several months to a year later. It's mostly because of the time it takes to travel from where they were to where Jesus was. So this explains why Herod killed all the boys under the age of 2. Secondly, since Mary and Joseph offered the sacrifice of the poor in Luke 2:24, they may not have actually even owned a donkey. Nowhere in the text does it say Mary rode a donkey. She may have walked the 90 miles to Bethlehem. Or it's possible that they borrowed a donkey from family or a friend. But Luke 2:24 says, so offer a sacrifice according to what is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. So they couldn't even afford a lamb for their sacrifice, which was the most common animal sacrificed. So third, the mangers at the time were usually made out of stone, not wood. It was carved out to be used as a feeding trough for animals. Now Joseph, being a carpenter, could have made one out of wood, but the text here does not say. Fourth, the stables were not what we picture in the Western world, a large barn with hay and such. It was much more like a cave under a house or close to a house that the animals were kept in out of the elements and fed there. Fifth, it is thought that Luke wrote his gospel using Matthew's as a reference, but he left out a detail in Matthew 1:25. And it says, but knew her not until she had given birth to a son and called his name Jesus. So Mary remained a virgin, it appears, according to Matthew, until after Jesus was born. Sixth, the significance of the Magi gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I want to mention here, gold was and is a precious metal, a very valuable commodity. It could have easily financed Joseph and Mary's trip to Egypt as they fled Herod. Gold is also a symbol of divinity. Frankincense was a white resin harvested from a tree. It was fragrant when burned and often used in worship as a pleasant offering to God. It is a symbol of holiness and righteousness. This was a sign of Jesus' willing sacrifice. Myrrh. Myrrh was also obtained from a tree. It was a spice used for embalming, but was also used in the gall that Jesus was given on the cross. So myrrh, when mixed with wine, it creates a bitter drink. And so this was a symbol of his suffering as a man and his death. Finally, we don't know the date of Jesus' birth. It is thought by some scholars that he was born in September because of the feasts and all that stuff, how all that lines up. But as the Christmas story sounds magical in a children's story or Hallmark card, it was likely very different from what we actually picture in our minds. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up. Be kind and respectful in the comments. The topics on this channel are difficult and sometimes there's a difference of opinions, but that's okay. Be blessed, be encouraged, and I'll see you in the next video.